on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Coming in Clutch. I'm your host, Cody Lewis, aka the LA Car Spotter, and this guy.
And I'm your host, Lorenzo Iacomini, aka the Speedy Guidi. And guys, we have an amazing show for you today because we have a guest. You might know him best as RMG.autos on Instagram. He has 57.5 thousand followers, and after the show, he's probably going to have 157,000 followers. Guys, he's a phenomenal photographer. He's from Oregon, and he just graduated college. He's an amazing dude. Ryan, welcome on the show. All right. Yeah,
Welcome.
Quiet down there.
Welcome.
All right.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Dude, we're great. We're glad you came on the show in
I'm
the
glad
midst
to
of
be
this
here.
pandemic.
Yeah.
You should be wearing a mask.
You're right. So should you.
I mean, this
I know.
guy. Yeah. Oh.
I brought a mask. Where's
All
my
right.
mask? It's not here.
All right.
That gag is over.
Mine's
Next.
in my car. I trust you.
All
All right, fine.
Let's just dive right into it. Ryan, some people might not know who you are. Want to just, obviously you're a photographer. You're super talented. We're going to post a bunch of photos up on here so people can see what you can do. But, how did you get into photography?
So I actually took a photography class my freshman year of high school. It was just like an entry, photo introduction, photo principles class. It was actually film focused, which was kind of cool. So I got to mess around in the darkroom and whatnot. But it just kind of developed into a passion from there. I took another film class or a photo class the next year of high school, and then my senior year I actually took AP photography, which is a thing. People always laugh at me for that.
I like that.
Yeah, so I just kind of developed it over time, and then I've always been a car guy since I could speak, or before I could speak, honestly.
Right.
And so after my freshman year of college, I was at a car show, Cars and Chronos, when that was still decent, and I was just taking pictures, and I was like, you know what, I should just make an account for this. And at first I was really embarrassed by it, honestly. I was like, this is so stupid. Why did I make this account? I'm not going to tell anybody that I have this. No one needs to know that this exists. And then
How long ago
got
was
bigger. That was July 17th of 2017, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've had
Wow,
your
to the day.
I think that's the day.
Wow.
It's right around there.
So you said you were always into cars. Where did that come from? Were
I have
you?
no idea.
Is it your parents into cars, or you have family into cars?
I
Because
mean,
you grew up in a place where there's not really a shit ton of cars.
you're right.
Was that it? Magazines?
It was magazines, yeah. Actually, really, just car magazines. I think was a big part of it. But even before that, I mean,
Back in the day when magazines were a thing.
Right. I would, just be spinning the wheels of a Hot Wheels for hours, literally as a baby. I have no idea why my parents were not into cars. My dad, kind of, but more through me than anything else.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, there wasn't really a big catalyst for it, other than just, I guess, my toys as a child.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we also understand that you do landscape photography as well.
I do, yes.
So do you put even a quarter as much effort into that as you do automotive?
I wish I
Do you
did.
do that?
Do you prefer?
I
landscape?
prefer automotive, but
Gotcha.
well, it's hard. Actually, I don't really prefer it necessarily. It's definitely combining two passions leads to more passion going into something than just one passion, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But I love being in nature, and I love exploring new places and whatnot. But I don't know, it never really came as naturally to me as automotive photography does. And don't get me wrong, I love.
It's not easy.
No, it's
I
not.
had my first taste this weekend of trying real landscape photography, and I pointed my camera at these trees, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I didn't know what to focus on. I didn't know what aperture to use. It's a totally different game when you're basically when a car is the subject in front of you and everything else is just kind of background noise. When you're shooting landscape, the whole thing is just a big canvas,
Right.
and you just kind of have to figure out what part of the canvas you want to
How to make it
shoot,
interesting.
and how to make just this huge canvas of stuff.
Dude, when in doubt, just do a long exposure at night, get the stars.
I was
and
actually
be
just
that
going to
guy.
say my original photography passion was long exposure. I actually did a concentration on it. That was my big project for my AP photo class was
Interesting.
long exposure photography and how the camera can be an extension of the eye, and pick up things that we don't actually see, like stars or
Right,
light
right.
trails, stuff like that.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So it we know that as far as automotive photography, obviously we're going to focus a bit more on the automotive side than your landscape photography and whatnot. But we know that when it comes to cars, you are heavily focused on the aesthetic aspect, like design elements, like just basically you're not super number oriented, I would say. Like it's just like the horsepower doesn't matter as much as clean lines or like a good looking paint job. So
which is rare for nowadays because everyone's a number.
Everybody's like a numbers whore, and we think
I
that
know
kind
all
of
the
like
numbers and I care about the numbers.
That's fair.
But I think that there's so much more to a car than numbers. And, I think that we're seeing that a lot right now with things like, Gordon Murray's T50. There's more to it than just the numbers. His design's a little
I feel like his is all numbers.
You think?
I feel like that design is essentially all numbers because it's like the ultimate driving experience.
He didn't even give numbers though, really. He gave horsepower.
It doesn't even have 400 pound-feet of torque. Like, it's not some big, crazy number. Like, you're crazy numbers.
You're speaking to a guy who hates that car, and I love.
I don't hate
that
it.
car. Yeah,
I just think design was not a very heavy influence.
I think it's function over form. Absolutely function over form.
Totally. Which is what I'm saying.
Which I like.
I don't love it. I think it's cool for what it is. I wish that I get it. Like, it's a modernized F1, but I almost wish instead of making it look like the F1, it was actually just what he would do now.
What do you think about the big desk fan in the back of it?
No comment.
All right,
I
fair
think
enough.
It's rad.
It's cool that it exists. It probably won't be cool if it spews rocks at you. And it looks a little funky, but if it cracks my windshield, I'll be getting the owner's insurance. So
that's so true. It's just made to suck up the ground and then spew it out behind you.
Dude, if you don't think that car's gonna have the most problems ever when it comes out, then you're
for sure.
Yeah.
So all right, tell us. We obviously have our own opinions about the qualities of your photography that set you apart from other photographers. But what do you think as far as how you take pictures and how you present your pictures? What do you think sets you apart from other photographers?
I think it comes down to details, really. I think that was kind of what launched my page from 300 followers to 10,000 and onwards. I think it was details and framing, honestly, which I got a lot of from Alex Benfold. Alex Benfold was a huge inspiration for me. Same with Zach Brell. All those guys are just such big inspirations in terms of photography. But I always just strived to capture things in a way that I didn't think everyone else would. Whether that was getting something in the foreground that might actually look stupid when I actually posted it. I look back on photos I took 3 years ago and I'm like, why did I think that looks good?
Right.
And then tandem with that, I think, editing in a way, I strive for enhanced realism with my edits. I don't want it to look too crazy edited. I want it to look like you were there, but almost better than if you were actually there, if that makes sense.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, dude, your detail shots are I look at your photos, I'm like, okay, I need to get those detail shots. But when you see, so when you're a professional photographer, you're going out on set and you're you have a shot list, right? But for us, we're going to a show, a car just shows up and you have to make it, your subject. Right. How do you decide what photos to take and when, what angles to take and when to do them? That's you know what I mean? Because I could see it one way and then you figure it a different way out.
I think.
Do you have a go-to list of these are the shots I take?
He's gonna give away secrets. Everyone get a notepad.
Yeah, it's gotta make sure I get the steering wheel. Gotta make sure I get the tach.
It depends really. It depends on the setting of the car. It depends on the car itself. It depends how interested I am in it. I was gonna say something. What was I gonna say?
People and other stuff that's around the car?
So I think that part of the reason that I ended up getting kind of unique angles was because of the lenses I was shooting with. I've never really been a wide angle guy. I've always been a 50 millimeter plus guy. And when I first started, I was using a 50 millimeter on a crop sensor, which made it more like an 85 millimeter. So I had to be far away or I had to get creative, especially at car shows that are crowded. And I think that that's kind of what led me to develop figuring out how to work in tight spaces with a longer lens forced me to come up with angles that might not be as cookie cutter, basically.
All right, so I know you've probably been asked this about a bazillion times, but let's just get it out of the way. What do you shoot with?
Sony A7 III, and like 95% of my shots are a Sigma 50 Art, and like the other 5% are a Sony 16 to 35 2.8.
Sony is like the G Master.
Yes, Sony G Master.
Dope.
Yeah.
So
A link to it
now,
will be in this
yeah,
video.
now that everybody knows and they don't have to fucking ask on Instagram every time he says ask me a question, everybody is like, what did
Literally
you
every time. I'm like, don't ask me this question, please, God.
Also, it's not, if you're out there and you really want to know what kind of camera he's using, like if you're really that obsessed with it, then you shouldn't be a photographer.
Also,
because it's not the camera.
So, yeah. So like
Yeah.
when I first discovered Ryan's car photography page, it was easily in like the early thousands.
I don't even think so.
Because I know, well, at least I had recently started my page, and I know that we were kind of like neck and neck in terms of followers for like the first couple thousand, up until like 4,000 or 5,000, and then I just remember like by Car Week a year after starting, I had gotten to 10,000 and I was like, woo, 10,000. And he was at 20,000 already. And then like the year after that, now he's at 50 something plus thousand.
Yeah.
And like, not that followers is like all about it, but it's just like when you think about the whole world of automotive photographers on Instagram, like 50 plus thousand, 57 plus thousand is a lot.
Mhm.
Like you're a heavy hitter in the
It's weird to think
automotive.
about.
It is,
Yeah.
but it's just funny that you're super young, you're extremely talented. But when I found out your page, remember I used to call you Mr. Crispy
Yes,
all the time.
I do.
So like,
My friends made fun of me for that.
Why do you call him Mr. Crispy?
so I don't know if he was using the same camera or if he was using a different camera or if he was just like bumping up his sharpness like crazy. But all of his pictures compared to everybody else seem to like circumvent the Instagram compression, and his pictures were always so high def and crispy that I would call him Mr. Crispy every time I saw him. And this was like way back, like early days. But like even still now, like your photos, the clarity of them, I just like how does he even do it? How does it happen?
People ask me this question all the time.
But it just goes to show you it's not the camera.
Right.
It's the shooter.
Exactly.
And like 90% of the time, the best camera is the one you have in your hand. It's just a matter of knowing how to use it to take the photo and then knowing how to like process it in post.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
I think that's like, it's not about the gun. It's about the shooter.
What photos of yours do you admire most? And what photos, I'm a double barrel question here, what photos do you think brought you up to the place you are today?
Photos I admire the most. That Porsche 918 shoot I did, the blue one, that was like my first, big hypercar shoot. I won this contest with O'Gara back in April of 2018 at one of their San Diego GT shows. And shooting that car in that setting, in that spec, was just like a dream. That's like my favorite car ever. So that was such a perfect thing. But I think having that one photo, the one I'm talking about with the table and the framing of the car.
Was that the owner, was that like the owner's house, or was that
No,
just
it was just a house
house that they used for a set?
Yeah, it was like for sale.
So that's cool.
But I think that being reposted by Porsche was very helpful. So what happened with the
we're
growth?
gonna show the picture, obviously.
All the photos
on
are being
top
shown
of
right
us.
now.
Yeah.
What happened with the growth was it had set at January 2018, I was at like 300 followers. But I was getting crazy engagement. I was getting like 300 likes on things. There were a couple Chirons parked at the montage that I got pictures of that got like 300 likes, and I was like, I don't even have 300 followers. Like, what's going on? And then by the time Cars and Copters, the first one came around, I hit 1,000. Then by the time Car Week 2018 came around, I was at like 3,500. Then after Car Week, I had hit like 4,500. And I was getting like 4,000 likes on things, which is like comparable to what I get now, which is irritating, but it's fine.
The engagement was super high back
I know,
then.
for sure.
Crazy.
And that's, I
Hey
think, a
man,
huge
don't
part of
even
it.
talk to me
Yeah,
about
this
the guy.
guy loses followers.
I've
every
been
week,
losing.
but
I'm just on a
losing
steady.
followers too.
No, I've been like for the year. I'm just
If
like.
only followers was a currency.
I know. real.
I would be a hobo right now.
But then after that, after the Porsche shoot, I hit like 8,000. And then by the end of the year, I was at 25. And then by the next September, I was at 50. It was wild. But sorry, I totally just diverged from your question.
That's what podcasts are all about.
That's
man.
fair.
Yeah.
Back to your question, another one of my favorite shots and shoots in general, probably the best one I've ever done, was the one with Shmi through Death Valley.
Yeah,
I mean, that one shot looking head on at the car with the road behind it. I mean, like.
So what? Wait a minute. You know what he's like, and I've heard your opinion. What's your opinion on the guy? I know nothing about him.
I think he's fantastic. He's such a genuine guy. He's really down to earth. He's really kind. I loved getting to know him. He was like so, personable and like wanted to get to know me too. It wasn't just like me going gaga over like a famous car person. It was like he actually was interested in getting to know me and Nathan, who I was driving with. Yeah, he was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm thinking specifically a photo shoot that you took with a special black DBS in the pumpkin patch.
Yes.
I'm only saying that because it's October right now.
Yes.
Are you planning a
Perfect
recreation?
timing.
I
That
literally was
is
just
an
thinking about this
insane
yesterday.
shoot.
That was part of my internship with Aston Martin, and we took a car out to Tanaka Farms in Irvine, and
That's
it
dope.
was really cool. Actually, that car has yellow calipers. I made them orange.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Good on you, mate.
But it was great. I mean, that was such a fun shoot and like unique, and people were like, "You won Halloween this year," and I was like, "Thank you." But yeah.
Yeah, and like the smoke and everything.
Yeah.
I think that
It was
fresh.
so cool, and I was really happy that those actually came out because we only had like one smoke bomb. So that was the thing now or never.
Side note,
That
I
was
just
sick.
drove a DBS pretty hard yesterday,
Yeah.
and I realized. So you get in the car, and I drove one the other week too, on Malibu Canyon, and I realized you cannot drive that thing. You get in, you're like, dude, this is a big V12 GT car. Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's-
get the tail end out of. Dude, it does not drive like that because it has so much turbo lag, in like a good way.
Mm-hmm.
You
Because
got to
it,
drive a DBS
I noticed
for
the
a
same
little
thing.
bit.
like it doesn't hit till 3,000, 4,000, but it's not like a super fast. You plant your foot and you're like flying sideways, like
Sure.
And the DBS like it takes a second and the traction
the
control kicks
super
on
fast
and it's
is
like
tuned like a
and it's like
Ferrari.
and it just
and
like
this
doesn't
thing
want
is
to go.
tuned like an Aston Martin.
Exactly.
It's
But the Aston-
pure GT.
But I realized that like if you drive it like a gear higher, the thing just flies. Like just
Interesting.
let the torque just ride it out. Like you're on the freeway, pass people up. It has 8 gears. Pass people up in 6 gear. Drop down like one more gear and you'll fly by them.
So, fun story about my time with DBS, really quick tangent. When I was driving it, I had gotten the tail just slightly. Don't tell Aston Martin Newport that.
They're not
We're
going to
gonna
watch this.
edit that out.
And yeah, so I got in the tail out just slightly, and then all the suspension warning lights came on. And I was
really?
like, okay, this is very British. So I went and pulled over on the side street and like waited 5 minutes and then turned it back on, and it was fine.
Yeah.
And I
Did
was
you
like,
like
this is very
shit your
Aston.
pants? Where you're like, oh my god, I broke it.
Slightly. I picked up a friend from school in it at Chapman, and the kids.
The warning
like-
light went off, and they were like, Ryan, we told you only one person.
No, I know, but the kids were like, the fuck is that? And why is he driving that car? I literally heard someone say that, and I was like, that's fair.
Yeah, fair question.
No, the DBS is.
I'd hate me too.
That is an absolute beauty. Speaking of cars, so you love you have an affinity for Aston Martin. You
I
work there. What are your other brand affinities?
Porsche.
Porsche. Is
Porsche.
that mainly mechanical, driving, or their looks as well?
I think that they really have the full package. I mean, they have the quality. They even have the reliability, I think. And
Totally.
like,
Oh, yeah.
the design is so elegant. That's
The
I
color
love
palette.
elegance.
Dude,
They're
Porsche's colors are the best.
Oh, for real.
We talk about it all the time.
for real.
they're like
posted a photo-
never-ending color
He
palette.
posted a photo of this beautiful speedster. He's like, "Can it be any better?" And I was like, "Yeah, it could be
It
blue."
was blue.
Like,
No,
Dude,
this
it's so
California
obviously-
one.
No,
Yeah.
but it was green,
dude.
so it was better.
I had this argument with him all the time. Like,
You're bored of
green cars are so overplayed now.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's
'cause
just like if
it's
every
the sophisticated guy color
listen, if
car.
everybody
Yeah.
was into blue right now
You're
and
right,
everybody
you're
was
right. I'm
making
glad
blue
there's
cars,
green.
you would be like, I'm over blue.
Here's the
I
thing.
think we need another
I
color.
have yet to see a single car that looks bad in blue.
It's true. It's
I
very
mean,
true.
like unless you're talking like an Aztec, but like
But like, what about green?
I have seen
There's a
cars
lot
that
of
look bad
cars
in
that look
green.
shitty in green.
Mhm.
You seen
Whatever.
green Enzo? I'd probably
All
throw
right, so
up.
let's get to
yeah.
You
we have
just
some.
want to turn to the
No,
conversation.
whatever.
with
We have
me.
some firing. We have some
It's okay, we won that one.
some
Yeah.
quick shot questions. No, green will always be better. And
That's why some cars
what
look
color
bad,
are these cups?
right?
All right, so lots of new car deliveries in LA and OC. Oh, not to mention that you used to be primarily in Orange County, and now you're in Los
Orange.
Angeles. It's Orange County, and now it's
Orange.
I don't know what that is, but
Orange County.
Now you live in L.A.
Good.
How's that treating you?
It's great. I'm really excited. You know, when I was
I
living
mean,
in
it's better
OC,
than fucking Kentucky, right?
Yeah, okay. For anyone listening that doesn't know, my family just moved to Kentucky, and while I was in my transition period from college,
What's the
I was
deal?
living with them. My mom's from there.
Oh, okay.
And so my dad's from Oregon.
Not
So they
as
lived
crazy.
there. His parents have passed away, and so she wanted to be closer to her mom, which is totally valid.
Right.
So they've just finished building a house there.
Do they have like a
And-
farm? Do they have like a
No.
monstrous house on like
It's a
property
nice house. It's
that's
not
just like
It's not insane. It's not as cheap there as you would expect it to be. We were very
Interesting.
surprised by that. I mean, you know, the house that we built would probably be like double the price in Oregon, but like it's not some crazy mansion. You know, it's nice.
That's fair. That's
but-
fair.
Dude, the amount of people I
But-
know over this COVID who have moved, it's staggering. So I do not,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I don't blame them at all.
for sure.
Okay.
But
Seriously though.
very excited to be in LA. When I lived in OC, I was always looking for a reason to come up here. I mean, my friends were like, "Why do you want to go to LA?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just kind of do." And
Car
so-
spotting day.
Dude,
Right.
the perfect age to be down here too. Like
Exactly.
OC's a little slow, a little long.
It's a little slow. I
You can
agree.
always end up there. Like this guy wants to move in there when he's turning 50 years
I'm
old.
10
next
years
year.
older.
But like I love OC too, but like I don't want to spend my whole weekend there.
I would
Like,
love to live in Newport someday. I definitely see that as like a happy place.
It's a good
but
goal, right?
100%. And it's cheaper somehow, which is nice.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think there's so much more variety in the cars here. I'm just so bored of what I saw in Newport Beach all the time. Every weekend, it was the same things. There would be like one surprise, like a month, basically. It was all Dan's cars, you know, all the
Yeah.
Koenigsegg's, all Mike's cars.
Dude, those
Which
cars
is
are
like-
so boring.
They're
Which
so
is like
boring.
such a funny thing to say.
I
We're so
know.
fucking spoiled.
I know, we're so
Oh,
jaded.
Dan's, Koenigsegg's, and Pagani's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
breaking them out.
But it's so
every
true
weekend.
because like, dude, they're
Manny.
basically on like a show and display license, if I'm correct, right? So they
Not
only
the Koenigsegg's, but the Pagani's, yes.
right, like it's just like
it's
who
just
cares,
like a
dude?
traveling car show. It's like a car. It's like a traveling
Totally.
carnival.
And
It's
you
just
know,
like
as rare as they are, when you see something that many times for so long in specs that aren't really that interesting, you get bored of it.
Yeah, well, that's my problem with car shows, dude. You go to these shows and you see these cars, you're like, wow, this is awesome. Like, but at the end of the day, you're just like looking at a car. You're not seeing the guy really drive. Like,
Right.
if he floored it, drove by and it was doing donuts and like showed us that he was driving, and you can kind of get a feeling of
Sure.
what the thing is like. It's a little more interesting.
Sure.
But as you just saw at work, like I drive by those cars, I walk by those cars all day. And
Mhm.
like I'm not
No,
really
phase you
fazed by them
anymore,
because
right.
they're just sitting
It's-
pieces of metal. But
Totally.
until I drive them, I don't care about
that's such a thing that only people like us can relate
Yes,
to.
so true.
That, like, oh, I go to car shows and I see the same Pagani's all the time.
Anyone living in like
And, like-
Montana is like,
Yeah, your
excuse
listeners
me,
in Oregon
like,
and
No,
Kentucky
totally.
right now are like, these
Like,
people are
I want to
spoiled.
deeply apologize to everybody that's
Me
listening
too.
to this outside of Southern California, and even some people look at my page that I know live not too far from me, and they're like, "Holy crap! How do you see these cars? Like, where do you see this stuff?" And I'm like, "Pretty much right down the road."
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy to think like, oh, I'm tired of seeing the same cars at all these car shows. Like, these people need to switch it up or get bigger collections or like
which
start
is so,
getting
like,
different.
pretentious to say.
It
like,
is.
It's so ridiculous. Like I say that
But-
to people, and I'm like, I feel like such an ass saying this, but like it's true.
You know what's
But-
even more pretentious is what I said earlier. It's like that color, that spec could be better if it was green. Like, dude, what does that matter for
We've
me?
turned
if it's
into-
fucking, like that guy
because,
paid so much
listen,
money for that. Like,
I know what
why
it
do
is.
we care what it is?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
As somebody who has, a few thousand followers, I'm a little bit of like a content whore. And when it comes down to it, if I take a picture of a green Cinque, then like I can post 100 pictures of that green Cinque, and chances are somebody might look at that and see that the green Cinque in the similar setting every single time and be like, okay, that could have been one day.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we've kind of like amassed all these cars on our Instagram and stuff, it's a matter of like, when can I see a different one?
Right.
When am I going to see the next one? So that's like all these new deliveries that are coming. We get so excited about new deliveries because it's like
100%.
finally a new spec. Finally
the
somebody did
details.
something different. Yeah,
So
exactly.
we have a buddy who has two.
Yeah.
But what
Rare cars, when they come, they are still exciting when they first land. But as a SoCal photographer, it like loses its like sparkle so quickly because either somebody else has one on the way that we're stoked for.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, that Pista's cool, but this guy's got a Pista coming.
Unless something's like a really, really, really good spec, like Coco's Regera is a great spec. I haven't seen it yet either.
Like Hong Kong Viola.
Viola Hong Kong.
Viola
Yes,
Hong
yes,
Kong.
Come on,
You know what? You know,
no, 100%.
in
I'll
Hong
never
Kong
get
they
tired
say
of
it
seeing
backwards,
them.
so that's why it's like.
Yeah,
That's
you know
it.
that from experience.
Yes. So,
I
but
personally
tell us a little bit about that. You personally, what were you gonna
I
say?
was gonna say I personally hate.
I don't
like,
really
there's a
want to
fix-
listen to this guy.
I was gonna say I hate our fixation with specs. Like it's such an innate thing. Like I'm like, if I had that car, I'd do it this way.
Yeah.
And everyone's like a critic. You know what I mean?
But that's just human nature, you know.
Right. I know. But
And
like,
also being like, because I think it's great now because when I was younger, I used to be like, if I had that car, I'd get it in black on black. And now it's just like,
Never.
if I ever thought about like a collector car, like the collector cars are like the special colors and nobody's like, oh man, this black on black, like, I don't know, just.
it's true though. Yeah.
I was thinking about the E36 M3,
Mhm.
and they have this like really awesome Dakar yellow.
Yes.
And you think about a lot of that particular M3, where it's not an extremely sought after car, but like the purple color that they
I
have.
was gonna say the purple.
Yeah, I forget what the
It's
name
midnight
of it
purple.
is. No.
Black carbon.
No.
Carbon black?
That's also
That's
a
like a
fantastic
bluish,
carbon.
isn't it?
No, that's like a black, but it's almost like an amethyst black where
Yeah,
it looks
yeah.
black, but if you get close,
Like
it looks
color
like deep
Whenever
blue.
I built
I'm
BMW,
talking
don't
about
make it
purple.
Oh, yeah.
It's like called galactic purple or something, some
Yeah. I know what
spatial
color you're
thing.
talking. It's like
But
a
it's like a-
darkish purple metallic.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
They have
and
it at
it's
the
just
LA
that
Auto
body.
Show.
It's just that body style, that E36 body style.
I
But
know.
what I'm
there's
getting
one
at,
around here,
what I'm
isn't there?
getting at, yeah, the guy that just brought it from Germany, and he keeps showing up.
that one.
He keeps
Yeah,
showing
that-
up to
Crystal
Crystal
Cove.
Cove, and he shipped it out here, and it's like that purple color.
Yeah.
It's not an M, but it's like the M Sport,
Very
and it's a
cool.
wagon, so fuck yeah. But like, I mean, in general, I think when you look back, the colors are the things that are special.
Well, think
But when
about,
I was younger,
you
it was
know
just
that
like black
orange
on black.
250 California that was at Car Week a couple years ago. It was like copper. You
The
know,
orange
Yes,
it was
250
so
California.
much
Yeah,
more special
yeah,
than
yeah.
seeing a red one or like a black one because of the color. I mean, it's a big thing, you know. And so I get your point, like why are we fixated on specs? But I think it plays a role in value
It
and
totally
also
does.
like
It totally does.
you know
It's true.
just being different. I love being different. That's why my photography is the way that it is, and
Right.
like why I do like 80% of the things I do is because I like to be different and like
For
unique.
sure.
But yeah.
So
I
you
get
mentioned like Coco's being one of your like the recent deliveries that have
Yeah,
come. His Regera, right?
Mhm.
What are some other specs? Because Coco's is dope. It's like blue, which normally
I
you
know.
don't see. But like, what are some other deliveries that you've seen recently? Obviously, the Hong Kong Viola,
Yeah.
Viola Hong Kong. What is it?
Viola Hong Kong.
Viola Hong Kong. We have 2 of 7 Viola Hong Kong pistas out here.
There's
Shout
7
out-
of them.
Apparently there are
There's
8.
only-
A spider just got delivered, but
Just
apparently
got,
there's
but
8.
yeah, dude, that's it. And
I'm not even.
so
you know
shout
what?
out to
I'm
Benny.
gonna say it. I'm not even crazy about that color because it's
Oh,
always
I
with
thought
the
you
carbon.
love purple.
I love purple, but not with the carbon wheels. I'm gonna be a little spec.
Okay, so
for
the
it.
other one
Samantha's
that I
is
shot did
not
not
I'm
carbon
gonna
wheels.
be a little
But
carbon.
they're
The
still
other one didn't
dark
have
gray.
carbon wheels.
Yeah, but I don't
They're
like
still
black,
dark gray.
I don't like black wheels with purple car.
He
I
thinks
feel
it like
you. I would prefer
clashes.
silver
It's a
wheels.
little
I
muddled.
like silver.
It's
I
dark.
like the silver diamond cut ones.
Amen to that.
I'm
you know
a
how many
huge
people give me
diamond
shit?
cut wheel
Me
guy.
too. People are like, "Why do you like diamond cut?" And I'm like,
No,
"Why don't you like diamond
cut's
cut?"
the only one. Or
Because
the
it has
only
definite.
wheels.
Yes. Okay. Thank God.
'Cause you
When
can
you
see
say
it.
diamond
Black are
cut, you
boring.
mean the ones that have like a brushed.
So it's like
brushed
silver on the
section
face and then black inside.
It's like kind of grayish inside.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
So like, dude, I hate like for me, a black wheel belongs on only an all black car if you're that kind of guy, or a white car.
or
Agreed.
a light colored car.
Sometimes red is okay, but
It
like
definitely
I
doesn't
have a
belong
green
in a
car
green
with
wagon.
black
It definitely
wheels.
does not.
No, but I agree.
No,
I
but it
think
looks
black
good.
wheels on a dark car tends to muddle the whole car, and it tends to take away from the lines of the
Mhm.
car, and it tends to take away from the lines of the wheels. So I agree. I like silver or lighter color, more
Also,
defined
I
wheels.
am a freaking whore for gold wheels now.
Oh yeah.
You're just a whore.
Yes,
Gold
for
wheels
gold
are
wheels,
okay.
dude.
Depends on the
They're
spec.
so good.
It does,
They're so good.
and it depends on the gold.
Like on any
Because
blue,
I've seen some like
True.
I've seen some gold that are like not like shiny gloss gold, but just like a gold that's so yellowy or orange or like
mag wheels,
mustardy.
the
I
mag
like the
wheels.
ones that Ferrari puts on the TDF.
Yeah, they're
Those
so
are really nice.
those are
Those
like
really
a lighter like vintage gold, like a champagne-ish.
Also, Justin Choi's Wyra with like the gold inserts with the silver face.
That's Jay Schwa, right?
Yes.
So he made those rims after he got
Right.
the car, right?
Yep.
And aren't they from another edition?
They're Tempesta package wheels.
That's what it is.
But he got his car. I think he upgraded his car to the Tempesta package. That's right, I believe.
So that's
those
Jay
wheels
Jay Schwa, right?
Are those
Yes.
wheels also one piece of titanium? Because the normal
I
Huayra wheels, that was like the big thing. Like they're
I think
one.
they
I'm
are,
sure that
but
they
they're-
are because they're lighter weight, I think.
But they
so.
have gold. They have gold and silver
Yes, they're
instead of
super
just
cool.
being silver,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But all right. So next question. What are some of your favorite brands we already went to?
Wait. We talked about new cars coming in. We just saw an RS6 at Malibu.
True. I don't know a lot of the new deliveries that are here because I've been gone for so long. I'm really excited to see the Monza in daylight. That's something
Okay.
I'm really excited about.
Dude, I saw it for the first time
I
last weekend at
know,
You guys
Nobu.
saw it at the
I
same
was
place.
dying.
But thank God you did because I never would have seen it otherwise.
Dude, it is
It's
stunning.
so
It's fully
fantastic.
stunning.
I
Like-
want to see the other one.
I want to see the other one too.
Dude,
I
that was
wanna
the-
see the
It's
other
a white one, right?
There's two other ones. So there's
Two?
there's dark gray with red.
When did that get here?
I haven't seen the white one at all, like, and even pictures of it.
Oh,
It's
really?
white
We
with
gotta
blue
ask
or
our
white
buddy
with green?
Nathan on Supercars Unlimited. I feel like he sees them all.
I
But
don't
there's
think he's seen those
but
ones,
there's
though.
gray with a red, and it may even be an SP1. But I'm pretty sure it's definitely gray with like a red hump and a red stripe.
Dude, if you
Red
get
interior?
if you get a Monza
I
and you
don't
get
know
an
what the
SP1,
interior is, but it's
you get
been
an
caught in
SP1,
Beverly Hills. 100%.
you're a badass.
SP1 is so badass.
That's
It's
such
so
a-
I
It's such a
prefer the
selfish
SP2 though,
move.
it just looks wise.
Yeah, it's very. It
Yeah.
looks odd because you just have like
It's
it looks like a
wonky.
surfboard.
Yeah.
But that's like
it
such
reminds
a
me like a Hot Wheels. You know?
yeah. It's such a like a power move though to be like
100%.
I just bought this $5 million car and only I get to drive it.
I think it's cool that Ferrari.
I think that's
I think
sick.
it's cool that Ferrari decided they were going to have this new design language. They came out with the Monza, and then they were like, "Okay, we're ready." And then they came out with the Roma,
They're very
and it's
similar.
the
Think of the
same
Roma.
exact. What'd you say?
What do you think of the Roma?
So I think I think it is like a hardtop California.
Mhm.
I think I really love the direction of the headlights and this like
On the
thing that they're
interior, though.
doing. This I know it's like not Pininfarina anymore, so it's like they had to change it enough to make it feel like a different car.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm not super crazy about the taillights. I like the round taillights of Ferrari just like forever, but the interior I think doesn't look as expensive as a Ferrari
Really?
should.
I think it's their best.
I haven't
interior
sit in it.
ever.
I haven't
Yes.
sat in it. You sat in it. You
I did
like
not
got
sit in it,
but you were
I
up close
been
and personal
to
with it.
it.
I
I
haven't
think it's
been
Ferrari's
like.
best interior ever.
See,
honestly.
okay,
But just
so
based on
I'll
the
say
exterior,
something.
I think it looks really slick, and I think that
Yeah.
the wheels maybe are spec'd a little small,
seen it
like
in
on the.
person?
No, I haven't seen it in
Okay, so
person.
it's
yet.
at Ferrari Newport, so you should go if you're going to be there tomorrow. But how I feel about the Roma is the design language should work, but something is off just slightly. The front
wheels are
overhang
too
is really
small.
big, and it should be wider. I think that's a big part of it. The front
It
track
looks
needs
tall,
width.
huh? It looks like a tall car.
It's just weird. Like the shape is a little weird. I actually like the back better. I think the taillights are really cool. They kind of remind me of the way they did Testarossa taillights, which was like kind of hidden, you know.
Okay.
And I like that like kind of simplicity of elegance about it.
Right.
The front grille, I didn't hate as much as I thought I was going to. Like the great body colored look. The radar integration is one of the worst.
Oh,
ones
the
I've ever
big
seen
box?
in my entire life. Yes,
The
it's
thing that
horrible.
looks like a freaking
Like a GoPro.
travel TV
Yes.
from like the early '90s, the
It's
ones
so
that like
bad.
you put the
It's a
antenna.
lockbox for a key. You put your key in
Oh
there.
my
Literally,
god!
it
It
was like
is
a
the
magnet or
stupidest
something.
fucking thing
And I'm
ever.
like, this is a $200,000 plus car. I mean, like, you cannot be doing, like, you can't be serious.
Stupidest thing
Right,
ever.
but also, dude, you can look at the Portofino, and that's also the same price.
Oh,
It's
no,
basically
I
a
think they still
California
have.
T,
I think
just
they
like
still have
just
a
like
couple years of like tweaking that car until it's perfect. And I think that right now the car that they just made perfect that they're about to be done with,
Mhm.
the A12 GTS.
Oh, yeah.
Like it
Oh,
is
yes.
all time.
the perfect car. It is
Perfect.
amazing looking, like every line
It's
on it is
so much
amazing. I
better
wouldn't
looking than
change
the
any.
coupe.
I wouldn't change anything about it.
Yeah.
The fact that it's like a super seamless hardtop. The line, like everything
The
is just
buttresses are so
Dude,
nice.
it's basically
perfect.
an SB. It's a Monza
front engine.
It's a
front
discount
engine
Monza.
V12.
Right.
that you can actually drive because it's not worth $18 trillion. I think it's beautiful.
It's
But
so
to-
good.
But to bring a point to the Roma's interior,
Yeah.
so I've sat in the SF90, which is the same exact interior,
Mhm.
and it was a concept option. The one we saw, the yellow one.
Okay.
Those
Oh, so
colors.
yeah,
It's a
so it
different
has the
design, though, isn't
it has
But
the
no,
same
it
little
has-
like iPad
Yeah,
type
yeah,
thing
yeah,
that
yeah.
sticks
Same-
out. It has the same all digital dash.
Yeah.
I like
No
personally.
press start button.
I personally hate the buttons, like the haptic.
lack
I hate
of
the
buttons.
haptic touch.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
Like I
Dude,
agree on that point.
getting a Panamera once, getting a new Q8 once, and like you will go crazy.
Oh,
Like I'm not even an ADD guy, but like you go in the sun, you see these fingerprint marks, and you can see where your finger goes to scroll for
Yes,
Sirius XM
yes.
or whatever. Like there's this gross, grungy Italian Guido freaking fingerprint mark. I'm like, it's disgusting.
And like
Italian-
getting in the car after this guy, it's probably so sweaty and like greasy all over.
It's great. Nice film on all the
Ugh.
buttons.
I do
Gross.
agree with your point though, Cody, about it kind of. I know it's not Pininfarina, but it is back in the direction that Pininfarina would be going. I think if they were still around with Ferrari, it's just cleaner, it's simpler, it's more elegant, and to me, I think Ferrari got a little bit too harsh over the last few
Yeah,
years.
super aggressive.
The TDF, the F12, I think was their pinnacle
Yeah.
Pininfarina design.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I agree about the A12 GTS too, though. But I like that they're going back in a more classy direction. Hopefully, I just think it needs to be executed a little bit better.
We have to see how the 812 track version looks like.
It's gonna-
That thing's
I think
gonna be.
it'll be-
I mean, what's that one that came out? The one off.
The
That
A12
thing-
of
I
what?
don't know the
Of
name of
the
it, but I know
A12?
what you're
That
talking
thing
about.
is stunning.
Beautiful.
With the
Absolutely
slatted roof in the back.
Of the
The
A12?
slatted, yeah. And it's they have a color called Rosso Magma.
Mhm.
It's the one off and has a blue interior. It is drop dead gorgeous.
The one that like barely looks changed.
No.
Yo, I mean the front doesn't look that changed. But
I'm
the
not fighting.
Pull it
rear-
up. No, pull it up. Pull it up. Whatever. Pull it up. So like
You asked
while
the
he's
next
pulling that up, what about like what's like a car design that you would fix that like a
This one, you
that a
dingus. This
manufacturer-
one. Look at those slats in the
Oh,
back.
that is badass.
That thing is freaking sick.
Yeah.
And the color they made it one off color. It's Rosso Magma. It's like a
It's so
Rosso
nice.
Fuoco.
So, like what's
Rosso
the front
Fuoco.
look like? The
And the
Rosso
front's
Fuoco?
more A12y, but it's still different. Did they change the headlights at all?
I don't like the wheels.
They really changed it all. So what's like a car that you
Yeah.
think that they kind of fucked up a little bit? I mean, I'm not saying anything in particular, but like there's a car that I think is
So you
just
think
not
maybe the Maserati
fantastic.
MC20 is like not the most.
What gave you that idea?
So okay.
What gave you that? I don't
you
know
know,
what you're
I
talking
posted
about.
a big long Instagram story about this. However, I think that the launch spec was terrible. I think
White?
that it had it was
Matte White.
horrible, and the wheels are awful.
Terrible.
Really, really, really bad.
What's
wheel
with
options.
companies coming out with matte launch specs like the Elva?
But it was, and
Ugh.
also the roof being black.
M4s too. Come
The
on.
black roof really ruins that car. When you spec it on the configurator in a blue with the not weird Trident style wheels. I don't know why Maserati feels like they have to incorporate their Trident in their wheels because they really don't need to.
Say that to McLaren though.
Yeah, McLaren
McLaren
suffers big
incorporates
time.
Oh, I
Their-
know that they put their
their
logo everywhere,
frickin'
but at least it's not in the
thing
wheels. But I mean, like, I think it's gonna look a lot better in colors and not the launch spec, because it did on.
Do
the
we have a
configurator.
price point on this thing?
It's like 200.
200.
It's
Think of it,
like
dude. Think of
the
it like a
interior
think of it like
seems
a Huracan.
really lotusy.
Oh,
I
thought
think that
it
it's
did
a
too.
so like the only thing I like about it is the fact that it's. I'm getting closer to the mic.
No, I was turning it down.
just-
You're loud for once. This
Oh.
is good.
The only thing I like about it is the fact that it's like smaller
Yeah.
and the fact that it's more of what was it called? The Cambia Corsa? Was that
Cambio
what it
Corsa, yeah.
Cambio
Yeah.
Corsa?
Yeah, that was a nice
So like
small car.
those were nice. They weren't really mechanically sound, and I don't think that they like. I don't think that they.
not even close.
Yeah,
Worst gearbox.
but I think that they were like really cool. Like that was the end of enthusiast Maseratis. You know, after that it was
absolutely.
like the Quattroporte and the Gran Turismo and like just a bunch of junk that like didn't. It was very marketed to the masses and whatnot. But
So
I
can
mean, I think that this would be a little bit more on that line.
I agree. Can I give you my not prompted answer?
Sure,
Okay, I have
go
two.
ahead.
One of the cars that bugged the living daylights out of me when it came out was the refreshed 2015 Kia Optima. Because
Okay. Oh,
the
with the
taillights in
weird
the back-
like fish mouth
No.
and the
No.
chrome that goes up the
No.
fenders.
the taillights in the
Am I
back,
talking about-
2015. Like this is like the when
Am I talking
when
about
Kia's
a
got
different
pretty.
car?
Probably.
I'm looking it up right now. As we
When
speak.
Kia's got pretty and when Hyundai's got pretty, like
Oh,
that
when
generation.
This guy right here. That
Yes.
When-
Now look at the back of it.
what's his name? Who's the basketball
One? Oh,
player?
it looks like the Julia rear end.
No.
Who's the
Well,
basketball player
Kind of, but no.
that they had? Oh, with the
Was it
red
Comin?
hair. No,
No.
the fucking guy with the curly red hair.
But
You would know. You like sports.
my point about this is
Blake Griffin.
taillights.
Blake Griffin. He was the one
The
that was like,
taillights
yeah.
do not align.
What do you mean it
Oh, they
doesn't
totally
align?
don't.
They
What do you
are
mean?
like this.
Like
at that
one's
bottom.
higher and on the left
where,
and the
where it
right.
meets the trunk is here, and then when it goes on the trunk, it's right here. And I don't understand
Okay.
why they did that. It makes no sense to me. I hate it.
Okay.
Because they're like, oh shit, we ran out of money, guys.
I just don't understand. Like the whole car looked good, and then I was like, why did you do this? Anyway, that's my mainstream example. My not mainstream example is the DBS. Because
Whoa. What
I
do
don't
you
like-
not like about the
the grill
DBS?
is a lot. I love the DBS. I think it's stunning.
Like you just think
Um,
it's
I think
Too
that
much?
what they did with the On Her Majesty's Secret Service car is
oh.
perfect.
Oh.
And that's
Ooh.
I think it might actually be becoming an option.
You know the one he's
Yeah.
talking about?
with the veined
I
grill.
don't know. I don't think I like that. I think
Really?
my
I think
problem
it's
with the
more
DBS
the
is
old school
rear.
grills.
The rear is so subtle compared to because the front's like gah, and
The
the rear's
rear
like
also needs the Aston Martin wings.
My
on it.
problem with the DBS is that it doesn't belong to me. Really, the only car of Aston that I have an issue with is like the Vantage front mouth, shark
Right.
mouth thing,
Which, again, they fixed
which
with
they
the grill,
fixed.
yeah.
They just fixed. But like when that first happened, the car I think was very cool.
Mhm.
Everybody was like, "Oh, it's kind of like Miata-y with the little lights." But they put a wire mesh grill in there,
Right.
which they could have put.
again they ran out of money and they're
Yeah.
like, just put a mesh in there.
But
Put something
then-
that's gonna stop the
But
leaks.
now they
quick.
fixed it, and now they'll
looks
also
great.
you can buy the bumper and get it retrofitted.
Oh, really?
If you go to like Aston Martin Newport Beach and you have a 2018,
Oh, that won't
and
ruin
you're
the
like,
value
"Hey, I
at
want a
all.
bumper," and they give you, oh man, what is in this? They give you a bumper and you can retrofit
You're
it.
drinking sparkling coffee. It's your favorite.
Yeah, man, this is
You're
hard.
drinking Cell Ray. This guy likes
Oh,
Cell
man.
Ray.
I
Guys,
like Celery.
we're running into the time, but we have a couple more questions we want to ask.
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, what else we got?
We got. Well,
What do you want to ask? I just asked my question. You can ask another question that you want. We'll take turns.
Okay, I want to ask you. So,
You're in the hot seat
sorry,
there,
we're
buddy.
Gonna sound like we're a part of it. We're interviewing you for a job, but where do you see your Instagram going in 5 years? Like, what's next for RMG.auto?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I really wish I could answer that question, like for my own sake. I wish I had a plan, but I don't. And I mean, my Instagram led to my job through someone I met, which is great.
In that case, it's worth it 100%.
Right.
You've already, yeah.
I
paid its
mean,
dues.
I think that
Do you have a bigger picture, or are you just riding the wave?
I would someday love to have my Instagram propel me to hosting my own car TV show.
Welcome
Okay.
to the club.
Yes.
Should we start one?
Honestly,
What do you mean a car TV show?
Would be down.
Our ratings are too high on this show. We can't. We can't stop this show.
Let me tell you, car TV shows, they're not all they're cracked up to be. No, but seriously, do you have a goal for your Instagram right now?
I would love to see it start growing again. Instagram has really screwed everyone's engagement and growth
I feel
because
that.
they want everyone to buy ads,
Yeah, I feel
which
that.
I'm about to start freaking doing because I feel like I'm out of options.
So why would you buy ads? Like where's the value? I mean, obviously you said Instagram got you your job, but what would be the value in putting more emphasis in Instagram? Do you think Instagram is the end all be all of platforms?
No.
Or do you think that because my question is, and it kind of leads, it's a nice little segue, I would say, but what do you think is the next social media platform, or do you think Instagram is basically the one for you? You briefly tried TikTok. I think you tried YouTube,
not
and
have
I've done the
TikTok.
same thing. Oh, you didn't try TikTok at all?
Well, I got
Don't
TikTok
do it,
and
you'll
then I
have
got
a
freaked
seizure.
out by how much stuff that they were
You'll
collecting
have a
on me.
freaking seizure.
I know.
Dude, I
You'll get 1,000. You'll get 10,000 followers day one, and then you will just have an absolute seizure.
Dude, I scroll on that app for at least 2 hours a day.
Jeez.
Once in the morning and it's so addicting.
It's because the first 4
It's so
seconds,
addicting.
the first 4 seconds is when your seizure starts, and then by the time you snap out of it, it's 2 hours later.
That means they have all of your life info.
So
They
like
totally do. I know,
no
we watch
TikTok,
we watch the social
no
dilemma.
no
Yeah,
TikTok. I mean, like TikTok, I've learned is like you have to create content specifically for TikTok. You can't just like take your recycled content or you can't just like recycle your content on
Right.
TikTok. I tried that for like a bunch of videos, but like TikTok kind of has its own formula. Like Instagram has its own formula. But like, what do you think? Instagram and that's it?
I mean, I really don't know. I think TikTok's gotten really big. I don't know if it'll last. We'll see. I feel like it's going to end up being like Vine, where people get sick of it.
Are you pushing your stuff elsewhere?
No, Twitter. Actually, I've been using Twitter. Actually, one of my posts on Twitter, the one of the Vector, got like 2,000 likes, and I have like 140 followers.
What do you mean likes?
Nice.
Like
Twitter,
reposts?
like favorites on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like
they call them likes now.
thumbs up?
Yeah, like little heart buttons.
Got
It's like
it.
an animated.
I've never
exploding
tweeted in
heart.
my life.
I have, but like never under LA Car Spotter.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I would
I've
love
never-
to see your tweets.
They're such garbage.
Oh, I want some waffles.
Yeah, no, it was like
Blueberry pancakes.
like I'm probably in like a stupor, just like I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about
Twitter
it.
right here.
Yeah, sorry, I wish I had a better answer for you. I mean, honestly, I don't know like how long of my life I'll be able to maintain that Instagram the way that it's currently maintained. Because I mean, like someday I would like to be owning the cars that I'm shooting. You know, like that's the dream. It's not just to take pictures of them and then post them and like never actually have them like in my garage. You know, like I see myself in the professional world in that way, whether that's in a creative way or more of a business way. I don't know yet. And I kind of have both. I'm kind of a left brain, right brain person. I kind of have both aspects of that going for me. So we'll see.
I feel like Instagram is definitely a bit of a creative outlet, but because if you strategize in a clever enough way, you can monetize your use of Instagram.
Totally.
You can't monetize Instagram directly like you can YouTube, but you can monetize your use of Instagram. So
I saw you had your store set up.
Yeah, so things like that, like being able to have a store, but also taking things like sponsorships or promoting products or something like that kind of are different ways of using Instagram.
Sure.
And, you know, other than just like showing a photograph of a car that you took.
Right.
So
Let's go to the last question.
Yeah.
I got the last question. Dibs.
No, I think we could ask both of these.
Which one?
Both of these.
I like that last one the best.
All right, so let me ask this one really quick.
Okay.
What's the deal with Genesis? I know you like Genesis a lot, and this is not your first.
I could talk all day about Genesis. I think that. So my last.
Don't
car
talk
was
all
a-
day.
I
Talk
won't
very
talk all day.
quickly about Genesis.
I do
We're
have
gonna
time.
ask
I
our
do have
last
time.
question right after.
I had a
We can always have you
2016
on again if you want.
I had a 2016 Genesis sedan. Technically, it was still under the Hyundai brand, so I got.
So it was a Hyundai Genesis.
Technically, it didn't have any badging. It looked exactly like the car that Genesis put out the next year, but it was $10,000 off. So that made more sense.
Interesting.
But
The great value for money, man. You can't deny.
No,
So
I mean, it's
for
interesting
real-
the way that Hyundai's transitioned their Genesis
sure.
brand off.
what I wish they had done was never actually have a model called Genesis, because now people associate it with Hyundai,
That's
which
fair.
is frustrating as an owner.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
but-
it was like basically a beefed up Tiburon.
well,
I've
no,
driven
the
the
coupe
Genesis.
was.
I've driven the
Yeah,
I've
well,
driven the
that
Genesis
was the
coupe.
first one. The Genesis
Well,
Coupe
the
was the
sedan
first.
was the first one, and it was
There was a
actually
Genesis
very nice.
sedan before the
Mhm.
Genesis Coupe.
It was a 2008 or 7, and it looked like a Mercedes. It was, very cookie cutter design language, like not special, but it was the fact that it was a Hyundai made it stand out for like reviewers and stuff. What I really appreciate about Genesis now is that they're finally starting to find their footing. They're, getting their crap together and working on building standalone dealerships, which is going to be really, really important for their growth, I think. But the biggest thing about them is that they have committed to being solely rear-wheel drive platforms, which not even BMW or
not know
Mercedes
that.
have done.
I love that.
I mean, like,
What about like even their SUVs?
yeah, the GV80 is rear-wheel drive, the
Actually?
GV70 is rear-wheel drive. It's a big deal.
I
and
guess
I think
because
that,
they're like people are not going to buy these for off-roading. And they
Right.
just like have given up. like,
Right.
Well, like kind of economy engines too. You're not going to take like a 2-liter off road.
But they also recognize that, you know, having that rear-wheel drive setup gives you better proportions. It gives you better handling, theoretically.
Well, like, what if you
And-
want to sell the car to somebody in New York?
Well, they have all-wheel drive ones. Every model has all-wheel drive too, yeah.
So
you can get it with
all-wheel
all-wheel
drive
drive.
is available.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
not-
yeah, yeah.
So, but there's
But
no
all the
goofy
platforms are
front-wheel drive.
rear-based.
There's
Correct.
no
So
goofy
it's not like
front-wheel drive
Audi
shit.
where they're all front
It's not like a
drive-based
Volkswagen
systems.
GTI with like some goofy front-wheel drive bullshit.
Right. So
Yeah.
you have
I hate those.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really important thing about the brand that people really don't know. And like people are like, oh, the GV80 is just like a guzzied up Palisade. And I'm like, it literally shares like maybe 3 parts with it, like maybe a turn signal stock or something. Like
It
it's not the
looks
same car,
amazing.
right?
I mean, the
It's a good
grill,
looking car.
if you're going to talk about big grills, like the DBS, like that grill
That's true.
is a freaking grill and a half.
Yes,
but
but
like,
it works on that car because the car is so big.
Yeah.
And it, yeah, I mean, on the GV8, on the G80 sedan, it's a little much. But I think they really hit the sweet spot with the G70 refresh, at least with the front end.
totally.
And like the grill size, I think it's kind of a cool shape. And do you know the story about it?
No.
So the front end of the cars, the
Jinx,
reason
show
they
me a
have
clip.
the 2 line
The
headlights
wings?
and the crest-shaped grill is actually to mimic their logo.
Oh, I was going to say, like the wing, like the
Yep.
lights, like the wings.
Yep.
and the
So like the
crest.
little indentations in the wings are the
Wow.
headlights, and then the crest is the, crest of the logo.
All right,
Wow.
thanks for that little tidbit of
Yeah.
knowledge.
Learn
That's kind of
something
like
every
the
day.
tail lights of the Civic are both C's that
Yes.
face each other, like
Same with the
Civic.
B's and the Bentley Bentayga are B's.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
The B, the rear lights, not on the new one.
All right, so
I
the
didn't know
last
that.
question.
I'm gonna say it. Freaking dirtbag. What does your dream car garage look like? We'll give you 5 cars,
5.
and if we disagree with you, we're probably gonna grill you.
We want you to pick like 3, but like we'll give you a couple
And money's no option, but think about what you're actually gonna don't
objects.
Cinque
Money's
and
no
a,
object.
and
I
a
don't want any,
Koenigsegg
I don't want
and
any
a
Zondas in
Chiron.
my garage. I have
No
desire.
Zondas.
Good.
No
I'm glad you're-
Paganis.
I'm glad you're a
Pagani free.
mature young man.
I don't care about them. I mean, like they're great for what they are, but like they're not my thing.
He's vegetarian.
I don't think they're very pretty. I'm not vegetarian. I would have a Chiron Sport Skyview. 100%.
Okay.
Blue back, metallic, heavy metallic, white metallic front, chrome C, tan interior. Thank you.
Blue and tan, baby.
Yes. I would have a 918 in there for sure. I think that the 918 is like one of the most daily drivable hypercars other than the Chiron,
It
except that the
absolutely is.
918 actually gets like good fuel economy relatively.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, the freaking Bugatti is so badass.
Right.
Like you get you
100%.
get in it and you're like, oh my god, I
Totally.
really want one of these. You don't say that when you get in a 918. You're like, this is cool, but like Bugatti, you're like, I'm driving a Bugatti. There's like that hype to it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I feel
Something
like
like that.
okay, so gosh, 5 cars is so
You got
hard.
3 more.
I know that you have a 300 SL Gullwing in there.
Yeah,
for
you're
sure.
right.
I know
You're
you
right.
do.
But here's the thing. I actually have a
I'm
really
so
hard
surprised you
time-
haven't mentioned that car
I
once
haven't-
this whole
I didn't
time.
think about it, to be honest. I have a hard time picking between the 300 SL Gullwing and the Mura SV.
Can you drive stick?
No.
Okay.
Then
You gotta
the
learn because
Mercedes.
I know I do.
The Gullwing is one of the toughest clutches ever to drive. And that Mira, you're not driving straight. The pedals over here, and your stick shifts over here, and you're driving.
I need a car to practice
You're
on.
literally
Like,
driving
I don't
like
have
this.
any access to anything with sticks. Like one of my friends has a stick VR.
Lorenzo
stick,
will lend you his car like anytime.
Your stick?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my GTI stick. I lent him.
Okay,
the
come
car.
teach me. Thank you.
Right
I
now,
will, absolutely.
afterwards, we'll just go take you outside and
Yeah,
we'll
it's
just.
I've driven it before. I just like I'm not good at it. You know.
Yeah, it takes owning one to actually get good.
It's like
Or like
snowboarding.
driving it over a weekend.
It's like snowboarding. Like you have to be at the top of the mountain, and your only way
It's
to
to
get
fall.
to the bottom is to just go.
Right.
So like you have to be on the highway in a
Yeah, yeah.
manual car. The
Basically.
only way to go
And figure it
off the
out.
highway and survive is to just figure it the fuck out. like
Yeah.
I feel like I would also want a P1, but like I really can't do only hypercars, so I'm like.
I was
not
gonna
do
say,
that
we're
one.
looking at like a lot of modern
I know.
hypercars here.
Oh god.
So no,
300
so,
SL.
so no SL or SL.
Let's put the SL in there for now.
What
So
color would
do
you
have?
get?
You know the blue one that was at Car Week a couple years ago?
Light blue, dark blue.
Light blue tan interior.
Yes,
That's
Yeah.
freaking Steez.
With the Rudge
almost like the
knockoff
color of
wheels.
your shirt.
Oh,
Yeah,
the top of
those
your
yes.
shirt.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Has to have the Rudge wheels, 100%.
Yeah.
So let's see. That's Chiron 918 300 SL. Do I need like practical cars in this like dream garage? Do you want me to have practical cars?
I mean, like,
Usually
listen, I
because
said you could have 3. If you want to stop there, you could stop there.
No, I want
but
to hear.
if
I
you
want
want
to hear what else. 'Cause
Okay.
you're
do
probably
you have
different
like a dream? Like, do you have a dream? The 300 SL is great. It's like a dream vintage car. Do you have
Yes.
like a dream, like oddball car, like a dream car that is not like $1 million or is not like your run of the mill poster car?
See, this is my problem and why I need to make a lot of money. Because no.
Well, that's the thing. So like, there's got to be like, I guess not.
I mean,
I can't force
a
it.
V12 Vantage, if you want to be like a little like reasonable-ish, like the old ones that are like
Yeah,
you know
I guess
80
that's
now.
reasonable. It's like
I mean, like
still
so
about
expensive.
like to $180,000.
No, they're like 80K now.
Newport Aston Martin just sold the 2017 with the dog
I'm
leg
talking like a
for
2012.
$185,000.
Like a 2012 that's like depreciated fully. It's like
no,
they
it would
had
have to
one
be
for,
an
like,
06. If
90K.
it's going to be manual, it's got to be like the 06.
Dude, just get a freaking. I just saw DBS
no, but I'm talking like
on the
like
road today, the manual one.
like
that thing
like
is
oddball
so,
quirky cars.
like
Sorry.
that.
Right.
Like you don't like anything like that. There's nothing like
Oh, thank you.
like a FJ40 or old Bronco or
Launch of
something that these
Stratos,
people. Yeah, like these like Integrale, Delta Integrale, or no.
I mean,
Dodge
What about
Viper,
old school
let's see.
Mercedes? I guess
love
like 80s
the Porsche
Mercedes.
356 Speedster.
Okay.
Does that count?
I mean, yeah,
like,
because
it's
I
more
feel like
classic
you can
vintage,
get
but-
that car in like a lot of price ranges.
Right.
Like you can get, I mean, obviously the cheapest is probably like 50 or 60 grand for like a restoration that's probably not mostly original, but that can obviously also be up in the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I guess that's fair. 356, that works.
In terms of something practical,
Nothing big. You don't like bigger cars, like no like long body vintage Cadillacs, vintage Rollses,
I'd rather
vintage
die than own those cars.
What
yeah,
about,
I
like,
mean, like
more
I just don't think
freaking-
I'd enjoy driving them very much.
like
you
a
know?
Mercedes 280D, like right, that green thing
True.
with the that thing is
They're
fire.
cool. They're just not really my taste. They're not what I would pick necessarily for myself.
All right, well that was
But
my
I do
first
like a
5
deep-
minutes of trying to convince Ryan to like vintage cars, and I
No,
failed.
I love vintage cars. I love vintage cars, just not necessarily those ones.
So
What about
like
like a-
you
what
put
about
like a
like a-
250 GTO in there,
No,
obviously.
I don't want
What
to.
about
No,
like
what about a
a
250 TR?
Maybe.
What about like a Shelby Cobra? Original Shelby Cobra?
Maybe.
What about like something like weird, like a Vector, like
I
that
have no desire to
W8
have a
thing?
Vector.
No.
Not
Yo,
love-
that
not
dude,
that
that thing,
serious-
that thing
Are
did
there
not
any,
really blow me away.
Are there any like one-off quirky cars that like a DeLorean or like something that you wouldn't give a shit about? Something now it's a challenge. Sub
I know,
$100,000 vintage car has to be something earlier than like 1995.
Like obscure-ish, yeah.
Somewhat obscure, or like an Aston Martin Lagonda.
That's a pretty tough question because the thing that comes to mind for me is like an Alfa Romeo like duetto, like a little like
Yeah, like a little
That's not-
a
that-
little
that's
hair
not-
buzzer.
but that's not
A
really
little
obscure.
Italian
I
cappuccino.
Or like a Lancia 037. How much do those go for?
Freaking lots.
Yeah.
Okay,
But,
what about a
but they're
Lancia? What
dope.
about-
No, but that's
about your
fair.
Delta?
That's still an oddball to me, even
about
though it's not
Delta?
sub
A
100.
Delta Integrale.
Delta
would be
Integrale,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I said Delta Integrale
I
already,
know,
but like
whatever.
I didn't hear
But
you.
like
Stratos,
that's not where
Stratos,
my heart is.
fair enough.
Like,
Because
it
he
just
likes
isn't.
hypercars.
But
he
no,
likes
it's not
his
even
cool
that. It's
stuff.
just like it's like
He likes them
I
to
like
be
things that are really classy.
aggressively beautiful,
yes.
because a Lancia Stratos and an Integrale are the type of ugly beautiful. It's that type of like, it's so boxy, it's cool kind of thing, and that doesn't seem to fit into like the I like it.
It's hard. There are, I
Folder,
think there's probably stuff
Ryan's.
that I'm forgetting, honestly, that I like. But I mean,
A freaking Lincoln Continental, man. A
Continentals are
freaking
very cool.
21 window
Yeah.
Volkswagen
about,
van.
What about an everyday car? No wagon.
DBX.
What about a Porsche?
You like a DBX over
What
everything else?
about a
Well,
Porsche?
maybe not over everything else. I put a Porsche in there.
Vintage Porsche.
I put a 356 in there,
You're
but
right.
you yelled at me.
You said
However,
356,
I
he
would
said
rather have a vintage
918.
911.
You wouldn't
It's
have
like
like
a
a 99. You wouldn't have a 993 GT2.
I would have a
badass
95.
motherfucker.
I would have a
I want
959.
Turbo S.
I would
Those are the
have a what? A
most
993
993
Turbo
Turbo
S. Yeah,
checkered flag has
I
a
messed it
silver
up.
one with a blue interior that I dream about.
I think that those have some of the best wheels on any car ever made.
Oh,
The
hell
turbo
yeah. The
twists?
turbo twist? Hell yeah.
And I wish
Pound
Porsche would do
it.
a modern version of that.
So,
Okay,
I mean,
we
that's
ran
pretty
time.
much.
We've been talking for an hour.
Yeah.
See, time flies. Time flies when you're just sitting next to some
Talking
Eminem looking ass motherfucker.
Man,
Yeah,
this
what-
guy
what happened
farted
with
and
the
I
blonde
passed
hair?
out like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, you're
So
talking
I
a
got
lot. You could have
bored.
blacked out there for a little bit. You're talking
So
a
I
lot
got
this show.
bored and I called a few different hair salons to get a haircut, and they were all either closed or booked.
Yeah.
So I took out my buzzer and I shaved my head, which I've done a million times in the past. And I was like, this isn't like fun enough.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went to CVS and I bought a bunch of boxes of hair dye.
And he dipped his head in a bunch of
No,
bleach.
no. And then I got to the register and the lady was like, "Ooh, child, those are not the right boxes for you." And then she was like, "You gotta go to Sally's and you gotta get." So then I went and got.
really funny.
So then I went to get like the official hair dye shit, and I bleached the shit out of my hair, and this
Oh
is
my
like it's been
God.
grown out a little bit. So I dig it.
Kind of frosted tips.
It's like I'm sitting next to Chris Harris, bro. This is
no,
great.
it's like a
It's a
little throwback.
better
98
driving.
degrees. Little. What's his name? Little Nick. Whatever his name is. Who was the NSYNC guy? Nick.
Justin Timberlake.
Cannon.
Yeah, him too. I'm sure there was other guys singing in there, but yeah, Nick.
I'm cutting you
Not
off.
Cannon.
I'm
No
too
one
young for
cares.
that,
Our
Whatever.
Our
It's been a
audience-
great show. I want to thank Ryan for coming through to the show.
guys, make sure to follow him. It's RMG.auto on Instagram.
You literally said it wrong.
Autos.
RMG's
With an S. The name is on the screen. Give him a follow. He's the best photographer in SoCal, by my biased
That's so
opinion.
nice.
Cody's number 6,882, and there's only probably 50 in this whole town. But Ryan, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for
You're
having
a great
me.
guest. We're out. My name is Lorenzo, aka Speedy Guidi.
I'm Cody Lewis, aka the LA Car Spotter.
And guys, we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.
We didn't even do like roll it in the beginning.
We didn't. We don't need that shit anymore.
Thank you for having me. This
Dude.
was fun.
Yeah, for
Time
sure.
time just flies. We could talk for fucking
know.
days.
Yeah, dude. And like, yeah, obviously, the more that we do